A group of skilled fishermen in the remote waters of Alaska made an amazing discovery. It wasn't a fish, a seal, or even floating debris. It was something completely unexpected. What could emerge from these dangerous waters that even seasoned crabbers couldn't explain? The secrets of crab fishing. Captain Jonathan Hillstrand and his crew were about 260 miles northeast of Dutch Harbor, doing what they do best: pulling in crab pots with skill and precision. For these men, crab fishing is an art. The crew was on a winning streak, pulling in 40 to 50 crabs per pot, a golden haul in the world of crab fishing. But crab fishing isn't as simple as tossing a cage into the water and hoping for a big catch. It's a tough and serious business. These men, many in their mid-40s, have spent years mastering their trade. They know the sea is unpredictable, and every trip involves a bit of chaos. Sensing an approaching storm, the crew raced against time, checking their remaining pots. Each one held a mystery: would it be full or empty? Fortunately, their luck held, and the final pots delivered a good haul, making all the effort worthwhile. Then came the biggest challenge: navigating False Pass. This dangerous stretch of water features waves so massive they can swallow a boat. But Jonathan and his team were ready. With a sturdy boat, a skilled crew, and a lot of determination, they braved the storm and headed home. The dangers of False Pass. By 1921, False Pass wasn't just an unremarkable dot on the map anymore. It had grown, thanks to the success of its salmon cannery, and even had a post office, something significant in this remote part of Alaska. Fishing wasn't just a seasonal activity for the people of False Pass, it was their lifeline. Every crab, salmon, or cod they caught kept their small community running, both financially and physically. Living so close to the unforgiving Aleutian Islands meant they understood how dangerous the ocean could be. A bad fishing season could ruin everything in an instant. On the Time Bandit, Jonathan Hillstrand and his crew faced these harsh realities head-on. Out on some of the roughest waters, with roaring winds and towering waves, they knew that respecting the sea was the key to survival. Jonathan guided the ship into deeper waters, dropping to depths of up to 5,400 fathoms, all in pursuit of their dream, $1 million crab haul. Every pound of crab mattered, with a target of 4,000 to 5,000 pounds per haul. But as if the ocean wanted to assert its dominance, the crew found themselves in the middle of a massive storm, with waves reaching 25 feet high. Despite the chaos, the crew pressed on, aiming for their goal of 50,000 pounds of golden king crabs. When they reached their chosen fishing spot, the crew started pulling up pots. The sight of bright red crabs spilling out boosted everyone's morale. It was an incredible catch, but the raging storm left no time to celebrate. Every second mattered as they worked tirelessly against the elements. Golden king crabs, nature's treasure. Golden king crabs are no ordinary crabs. These large, meaty crabs are as valuable as gold and live in the icy depths of the Bering Sea. They are not just a delicious meal, they are a financial jackpot. However, catching them is a dangerous gamble, as one mistake could cost a life. These crabs have a fascinating life cycle. They start as tiny eggs, hatching in spring when plankton blooms provide plenty of food. As they grow, they shed their shells and move to deeper waters, eventually returning to the shallows to lay eggs. This cycle can last up to 30 years, a testament to their resilience and the challenges of harvesting them from the sea. For Jonathan and his crew, every crab they pulled up was a victory in their battle against the sea, harsh weather, and slim odds. But the storm wasn't done with them, and neither was the ocean. Would their luck hold out? Life at False Pass. When the Alaska Department of Fish and Game declared red king crab population stable, it seemed like good news. However, the situation wasn't simple. Crab stocks across Alaska were shrinking, leading to stricter fishing regulations and outright bans in some areas to prevent the population from collapsing. For fishermen like Captain Jonathan and his crew, these restrictions made their already tough job even harder. Fishing isn't just about throwing pots into the ocean and waiting for a haul. The crab population depends on a delicate balance with the environment, which changes unpredictably. For example, in 2011, fishermen hauled in 17 million pounds of red king crabs, earning $110 million. But if populations dip too low, the catch, and the money, disappears. Red king crabs are remarkable creatures. They are distant relatives of hermit crabs, and use their powerful claws to feed cleverly. Alaska's waters also host blue, golden, and scarlet crabs, all experts in survival. These crabs form giant pods, stacking together to fend off predators, a perfect example of teamwork in the wild. For the people of Alaska and the crews like Jonathan's, every crab represents the hard work, risk, and determination it takes to thrive in this challenging but rewarding way of life. Crab fishing is all about teamwork, and on the Time Bandit, it's what kept the crew going, literally. Every decision Captain Jonathan made was a careful calculation. Moving the ship to a new location wasn't just about luck, it was about balancing the costs, risks, and possible rewards. This time, he decided to try fishing at a ridge 400 fathoms deep, and his instincts proved right. When the pots started coming up, they were full of massive golden king crabs. The crew cheered, their spirits soared, and for a moment, it felt like nothing could stop them. But the storm around them didn't care about their good fortune. The Bering Sea is unpredictable and dangerous. Despite the excitement, the crew knew they had to stay focused. Every move had to be carefully thought out, like playing a game of chess against an angry ocean. Filling the pots was one thing, but the real challenge was getting back to shore safely. The next hurdle was False Pass, a narrow, dangerous channel known for its unpredictability. Many experienced captains have been humbled by its challenges. For Jonathan and his crew, this was the final obstacle before reaching home. They knew what was at stake. Crab fishing isn't just tough on the water, it's also a logistical nightmare. The gear is expensive and highly specialized. Once the crabs are caught, they have to be cleaned and processed by hand. There are no shortcuts in this business. Unlike farmed seafood, crabs are wild-caught, and their availability depends on nature. Water temperature, ocean quality, and other environmental factors all play a role. Add high demand and the fact that crab meat is considered a luxury, and you have an expensive seafood product. Still, people are willing to pay because it tastes so good. For Jonathan's crew, the season was a relentless grind. There was no guarantee of a big catch, and every trip was a mix of hope and hard work. On their first trip of the season, they managed to turn things around after a slow start. Despite a few problems, they hauled in over 70,000 pounds of crabs, worth about $850,000. It was a big win, and docking at King Cove was a proud moment for the team. Jonathan was especially pleased with how his crew worked together, even guiding new recruits and managing through dangerous waters. His leadership had paid off. As the crew unloaded their massive catch, there was a quiet sense of satisfaction. They had faced the challenges of the sea head-on and succeeded. But everyone knew the ocean is unpredictable, and another storm could always be waiting. After the catch, the crew didn't waste any time. They carefully sorted the crabs by size and health. It sounds simple, but it's a long and tiring process. Only the best crabs are kept, the rest are thrown back into the sea. The stakes are high because only top-quality crabs make it to the market. Once sorted, the crabs are placed in chilled seawater tanks to keep them fresh. A slight mistake, like a temperature change, could ruin the crab's delicate flavor and texture, and nobody pays premium prices for poor-quality seafood. When the ship docks, there's one last quality check. Buyers expect nothing but perfection. These crabs are a big deal, often ending up on fancy dinner plates around the world. The process is tough and frustrating, but it's all part of the business. Sustainability regulations add even more pressure. Fishing limits, conservation rules, and constant monitoring ensure the crab population isn't overfished. It's about protecting future generations while making a living now. These rules mean every decision the crew makes is closely watched. How much they catch, where they fish, and even the gear they use must follow strict guidelines. For Jonathan and his crew, the pressure to succeed while following the rules is constant. One mistake could cost them their catch, and their reputation. Back on the icy waters, the crew barely made it through False Pass. But now, they faced fast-moving sea ice. Jonathan received an urgent message. The ice was closing in faster than expected. Turning back wasn't an option, so they pressed on, knowing the risks were enormous. The first problem came when their fishing gear got tangled. One crew member stepped up to untangle the mess, but a massive wave slammed into the ship just as things seemed under control. Chaos erupted, and for a moment, it felt like everything was falling apart. But Jonathan calmed the crew and regained control. It was a tough reminder that, out here, the ocean is always in charge. With the gear untangled, the crew managed to haul in another big catch. It was a relief and gave them hope that they could finish the trip successfully. But the ice was still a threat, and all they could do was wait and see if they had enough time. Meanwhile, competition was heating up. Captain Sig and his crew were using a bold tactic called corking, where they tried to lure crabs away from others' pots into their own. It was sneaky and risky because it could damage trust between crews in an already competitive environment. On the Time Bandit, luck seemed to be fading. After a strong start, things took a downturn. Their fourth attempt at setting a crab pot failed because the cage door wasn't properly set up. Mistakes like these are costly. The crew fixed the issue quickly and tried again, but their fifth attempt brought nothing but empty pots. Andy, one of the crew members, noticed something strange. The pot doors were tied differently than usual, making him suspect sabotage. When he confronted Captain Sig nearby, Sig denied any involvement. Without proof, it remained speculation, but tension on the deck was high. Jonathan couldn't shake the feeling that someone might be playing dirty. Despite the setbacks, the crew pressed on. The red king crabs they were chasing weren't ordinary. These crabs can grow up to 6 feet wide and weigh up to 28 pounds, though most are smaller. They are highly valuable, turning bright red when cooked and fetching top prices in markets. The rocky start to the season had everyone on edge. The crew of the Time Bandit was frustrated, and even Captain Sig worried his pots might be sabotaged. The fierce competition added excitement but also mistrust. As the ice moved faster, threatening to trap the ship, the crew raced against time. Every pot pulled up was a gamble, and every decision Jonathan made carried huge risks. Out here, success and disaster are separated by a fine line. Crab fishing is tough, dangerous, and relentless. It's not just about hauling crabs, it's about survival, strategy, and grit. From icy waters to tangled gear to rival crews, every challenge tests the fisherman's limits. For Captain Jonathan and his crew, this season is just beginning, and the ocean isn't done testing them yet. What do you think is going on? Could someone be sabotaging the Time Bandit? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates and high seas drama. See you in the next video.